Gauridas Pandit, of the name Gauridas Pandit, Yanra, whose Prema Udanda, Bhakti, the most elevated in love of Godhead and devotional service, Krishna Prema, love of Krishna, Dite, to deliver, Nite, and to receive, Dhare, empowered, Mahashakti, great potency. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gauridasa Pandit, the emblem of the most elevated devotional service in love of Godhead, had the greatest potency to receive and deliver such love. Gauridasa Pandit. Please repeat. Gauridasa Pandit. The emblem of the most elevated devotional service in love of Godhead had the greatest potency to receive and deliver such love. Purport. It is said that Gauridasa Pandit was always patronized by King Krishna Das, the son of Harihoda. Gauridasa Pandit lived in the village of Shaligram, which is situated a few miles from the railway station in Mudagacha, and later he came to reside in Ambika Kalna. It is stated in the Gaura Ganadesh Deepika verse 128 that formerly he was Subal, one of the cowherd boyfriends of Krishna and Balaram. Can you turn this down a little bit? It's just feeding back. It's on the edge of feedback. Just a little bit. Just stop that feedback. It is stated in the Guru Ganadesh Dipika, thank you, that he was formerly Subal, one of the cowherd boyfriends of Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. Gauridas Pandit was the younger brother of Suryadas Sarakela, and with the permission of his elder brother, he shifted his residence to the bank of the Ganges, living there in the town known as Ambika Kalana. Some of the names of the descendants of Gauridas Pandit are as follows: Sri Nrsinga Caitanya, 1, 2 Krishna Das, 3 Vishnu Das, 4 Bara Balaram Das, 5 Govinda, 6 Raghunath, 7 Badu Ganga Das, 8 Aulia Gangaram, 9 Yadavacharya, 10 Hridaya Chaitanya, 11 Chanda Haladara, 12 Mahesh Pandit, 13 Mukut Rai, 14 Batuyaya Gangaram, 15 Aulia Chaitanya, 16 Kaliya Krishnadas, 17 Patuya Gopal, 18 Bada Jagannath, 19 Nityananda, 20 Bhavi, 21 Jagadish, 22 Rai Krishnadas, and 22 and a half Annapurna, the eldest Annapurna. Full stop. The eldest son of Gauridas Pandit was known as Big Balaram, and the youngest was known as Raghunath. The sons of Raghunath were Mahesh Pandit and Govinda. Gauridas Pandit's daughter was known as Annapurna. The village Ambika Kalana, which is situated just across the river Ganges from Shantipur, is 2 miles east of the Kalanakorta railway station on the Eastern Railway. In Ambika Kalna there is a temple constructed by the Zamindar of Burdwan. In front of the temple there's a big tamarind tree, and it is said that Gauridas Pandit and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met underneath this tree. The place where the temple is situated is known as Ambika, and because it is in the area of Kalana, the village is known as Ambika Kalana. It is said that a copy of Bhagavad Gita written by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, still exists in this temple. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. So the expansions, the devotees of Lord Nityananda are being listed here, and Gauridas Pandit, as I said here, the most elevated devotional service in love of Godhead. He was the emblem of love of Godhead, and he had the greatest potency to receive and deliver such love. And it's explained that the elder brother of Gauridas Pandit was Surya Das, Surya Das Sarakela was his older brother, who was mentioned I think a few verses before. And actually the daughters of Surya Das Sarakela were Janava and I forgot it. Let's see, what's the other daughter? Janava and Vasudha. Vasudha and Janava were the two daughters of Surya Das Sarakela. And these two daughters of Surya Das Sarakela actually married, were the wives, consorts of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So you can see that this Gauridas Pandit was very intimately associated with the family of Lord Nityananda, being that he was actually the uncle of Lord Nityananda's wives. And still to this day, there are different lineages that come from these descendants of Lord Nityananda. Various whether or not they are in fact, but there are different lineages that are claimed as coming from this family. And in the history of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, of especially the followers of Bhaktisiddhanta, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati came, he established strongly what was the mood of Rupa Goswami. We know very famously Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur went to Radhakund and he gave class there at Radhakund, the most sacred place, and many of the Babajis there criticized him because instead of coming in a Babaji dress and walking, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came in a motor car to Radhakund, dressed in very nice clean dress, and the Babajis there criticized him. What is this? How can you say you're a renunciate, follower of Rupa Goswami? How can you say this? You're driving a car. And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was very strong and said that actually I am, yes, a follower of Rupa Goswami, but in fact you're simply imitating Rupa Goswami. But Bhaktisiddhanta said that he was actually taking the instructions and the mission of Rupa Goswami to spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And during the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he re-established the pure teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which had been variously contaminated by different groups who were saying that who were doing grossly sinful activities in the name of Lord Chaitanya. And then his son Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he very clearly enunciated what is the mood of the followers of Rupa Goswami, the Rupanugas. And he was very strong in his he was very forceful in his explanation against the explanation of people who were in or claimed to be within a family lineage coming from Lord Nityananda, coming from these great elevated devotees. And you can see now, in fact yesterday I briefly did a little bit of in my research of this, briefly looking on the internet for some different things, and actually came up, you can see even now that this lineages, so they're a family lineage, they're described there. You can see that the lineage has gone back from this one and this one and this one right back to the family of Lord Nityananda, and saying that, and also mixing that with saying that simultaneously there is a family lineage which is very important, that if someone comes in this family, they have a very special place because of coming in this material, this external family, and at the same time mixing that with a sort of sort of like a Manjari, Gopi, Bhava, Pranali initiation, that also this comes from this line. So this type of philosophical presentation was very strongly spoken against by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and we can see that following in his footsteps, Srila Prabhupada also was very strong on this. That actually throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see in the case of Narad Muni, for example, that he didn't come in any particular family. That wasn't the important thing. The important thing was that he heard from the pure devotees, he served the pure devotees, he took the remnants of their food, he took their process. We have the Hanta Magrari, who again, Narada Muni himself, once he'd become a guru, he initiated the Hanta Magrari. There's Haridas Thakur, who was born in Mohammedan family in our Caitanya Lila. There's this Prahlad Maharaj who came in the family of asuras, demons, and became the greatest devotee. So we can see throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam actually this idea of a sort of a family succession, that you were born in this type of family, therefore you have some monopoly, you have some special entrance into the spiritual reality is not accepted. What is accepted, and Srila Prabhupada says himself, that by being born in a family of devotees, you get the chance to be trained in devotional service from a young age. So it's not like a rubber stamp. Srila Prabhupada says, just like if someone's born in the family of a high court judge, then automatically they're not going to grow up and everyone says, yes, he's a high court judge because he's born in the family. His father was a high court judge and he can be. No, he has to be trained in that. But the advantage of being born in a family of a high court judge is that from a very young age you're exposed to that that thinking, that legal reasoning of how a judge has to act, how he has to properly do his duties. So you have a very good chance. You have a good chance to enter into that. Maybe a better chance than others. But still you have to take that chance. You have to get educated. You have to understand the science. So in the same way, being born in a family of devotees, it's not a rubber stamp that yes, he is born in this family, therefore no, it's not like that. It's that, as Srila Prabhupada says, he had the great fortune to be born in a family where from very young age he would wake up and his father was doing the puja. He would hear the bell of his father doing the puja. He would see his parents doing devotional things, offering the food to Krishna and things like that. So the activities are important. Lord Chaitanya has given us this verse, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sajja Kabunai Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karya Uday. That every living entity, no matter what the external covering, has eternal love for Krishna in their heart. Right? Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabu Nai. Sadhya Kabu Nai means it doesn't come from another place. It's not something that you have to import, or you have to be born in a certain family or have a certain designation. No, that love for Krishna is eternally. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya. It's eternally in the heart of every living entity. Then how does that manifest? How does that manifest, that love for Krishna? If everyone is completely absorbed in materialistic activities, okay, it's fine that everyone has love of Krishna in their heart, but they're completely forgetting Krishna. So how do they reawaken that? Shravana Adi Shuddha Chitte Karayu Uday. Shravana Adi. So Adi means, Adi means like the original, Govindam Adi Purusham, the original Lord. So Adi also means the original, means if there's an original, there must be many others. So Adi also comes to mean that, like etc. in English. Shravana Adi. Shravana, the original, but then, so Shravana, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vananam. So hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, offering service, worshipping the deity, all of these different activities. Shravanadi, Shuddha Chitte. Shuddha means purified. Shuddha means pure, purified. Shuddha Chitte. Chitte means the heart. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte. By hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, reading about him, all of these different activities, the heart becomes purified. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte. Then Karaye, Kara just means to do, Uday. Uday, woke up. Right? It's like Udila Aruna, the sun's waking up. Karaye Uday. So the process of Krishna consciousness that is given by Rupa Goswami, given by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and our own Srila Prabhupada, is very clear that it's a process of hearing about Krishna, talking about Krishna, remembering Krishna, doing the various activities, other activities associated with Krishna consciousness to awaken that love that's within everyone. That is within everyone. So on this point also, that sometimes if you read through the Veda base, you do a search for Janavamata, you'll see Srila Prabhupada quoting or talking about her in the sense of giving her as a example when some people would say, can women become gurus, can become spiritual teachers. Srila Prabhupada would give this example and say, Janavamata, she was, it doesn't matter. And Lord Chaitanya gave this verse, Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kene Noi Jai Krishna Tattva Veta She Guru Hoy. That whether one is a sannyasi, a brahmana, Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kene Noi, or even if he's a Shudra, just a simple worker, Jai Krishna Tattva Veta, the Krishna Tattva, one who knows the truth about Krishna. Jai Krishna Tattva Veta, one who is the knower. She Guru Hoy, him or she, them, Guru Hoy is. So it doesn't matter in Lord Chaitanya's movement. In Rupa Goswami has explained this point. Lord Chaitanya has given it many times. He was talking to the Kurma Brahmana. The Kurma Brahmana wanted to leave home and go with Lord Chaitanya and become a sannyasi, and Lord Chaitanya said, don't let me hear you talking like this. It doesn't matter what is your external designation. What matters is do you have the knowledge of love of Krishna, the knowledge of Krishna consciousness, Jai Krishna Tattva Veta, then you can explain that to others. So this is the platform of knowledge as given by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and it's a process. Rupa Goswami has given Ado Shara Tata Saru Sangha Bhajana Kriya. The process is to develop some faith, to associate with devotees, and then to take up the process. Right? Same verse, same principle. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte. This process of hearing and chanting about Krishna, this is Bhajana Kriya. This is the process. He doesn't say that the process is to find someone who's born in a particular family, or to find some particular somebody that will give some very, very so-called high intimate leelas of Krishna, something like this. He doesn't say that. No, he says first get some faith. Aro Shraddha Tada Sadha Sangha Bhajana Kriya Anata Nivritti. Get rid of the anatas, right? Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte. This is Anata Nivritti. Shuddha Chitte, clearing the heart, purifying the heart, right? Anata Nivritti. Then what comes after Anata Nivritti? Nishta. So after when the heart is cleared, only then one can actually be fixed in devotional service. Can only be fixed in their service. Only then, right? And then only after Nishta, when the heart is clear, when one is fixed, only then can come what? Ruchi. Can come some taste, some genuine attraction for these pastimes. So in the same way, our acharyas have given us this process. It's a very real process. It is not something cheap, so you'll find to this day, especially on the ocean of the free for all, that is the social media. Still, you can read people proposing this idea that if you come and hear some intimate leela, that sometimes they even say more or less, that Bhaktisiddhanta, like Srila Prabhupada, he gave like kind of the basic thing, but if you want the real something, come over here and hear from this person, hear from that person. Still to this day, you can hear this philosophy being given. But this is not the mood of, this is not the explanation, this is not the understanding of our Srila Prabhupada. It's not the presentation of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati as we've received it from Srila Prabhupada. But the process is this: Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koraya Uday. And many times you'll hear the saying, if something's too good to be true, then it probably is. Right? It probably is too good to be true. It's not true. So this idea that we need to go somewhere else, we need to hear something, this is against the formula that Rupa Goswami has given us, against the formula that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has given. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhyuka Binoy. That pure love for Krishna is within your heart. Have no fear. It is there. Do not doubt. It is there. But how to access that? Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte. Purifying the heart. What is it, Raghunath Goswami? Is that bhajan? Rupa, Vrindavan, when I purify my heart, I'll be able to understand Vrindavan. What is that? Is that verse where he says that only when I purify my heart, then I can understand Vrindavan. So our job is not to try to sort of sneakily hear some, high thing that we cannot understand. Acharyas say it's just like a 5-year-old talking about married life. What can they understand? I talk so many big things. It's just like that. So, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti Bhuja Boshe, yeah.
Then I can understand.
Where is the purifying heart line? What is that? Raghunatha Pade Pulakashari. We can look it up, but in that bhajan, the same thing is given. Same thing is given. Our job is to purify the heart. Purify the heart means to give up the negative things, give up lust, anger, greed, give up, all of the external anattas of the false ego, and to hear about Krishna, to really base our consciousness, base our perception on what Krishna is giving in the scriptures. We can say so many things in the class, and we can talk so many things to each other, but at the end of the day, how are we perceiving the world? How are we judging the world? Shastra Chakshu. How are we seeing the world? When we see something in the world, do we judge that in terms of what the scriptures, what the great devotees have given us, how to judge that thing? Or do we judge it on terms of what we like or don't like, or some mundane modern conception of what it is, or things like that? Of course, we have to, we have to be able to interact with the world. We have to relate to people. We have to understand their values, and we have to acknowledge their values and treat them in such a way. They're finding this really important. Okay, yeah, it's important. That's fine. But we ourselves, underneath that, as devotees, we have to have the Shastra Chakshu. We have to judge. We don't have to, but to become a pure devotee, to become an advanced devotee, we have to see things in the way the advanced devotees see them. That's a very important thing, and we can only do that by reading, of course, by hearing. And Caitanya Caritamrita, of course, it's a wonderful thing that some time back the devotees here at New Govardhana, and especially Krishna Kirtan Prabhu has pushed it on and helped in so many ways to study Caitanya Caritamrita twice a week on Saturday and Sunday, because Caitanya Caritamrita is the bhakti for dummies. Bhakti for dummies, if you want to put it like that. I'm speaking in a very coarse way, of course, but I'm saying that in the Kali Yuga, we're very unfortunate. We have, we can't understand so much. Krishna came in a previous age. How does that relate to us? It's very easy to say, well, that's all right for Arjuna, but what about me? I have this and that. But Lord Chaitanya came, and he didn't just come and just give some teachings and sit on a mountain for 50 years. No, he went all over India physically, and also in terms of his pastimes, he interacted with so many kinds of devotees. Interacted with devotees who were into renunciation, into deity worship, who were into family life, who were into big business and looking after the devotees with their business, with their money. There were so many different interactions that are in Caitanya Caritamrita, and they're all noted there. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Raghunath Das Goswami, he wrote detailed notes. He said, I'm only going off what Raghunath Das Goswami told me. And of course, Swarup Damodar also was writing the notes. And he remembered all that, and he wrote this Caitanya Caritamrita in his very late age in Vrindavan, from what he had been told by Raghunath Das Goswami and Swarup Damodar, who were there at the time. So these are very detailed interactions between devotees, how devotees interact, how they see the world, what they see is important, what is not important, how things should be adjusted. It's all here in the Caitanya Caritamrita. It's all here in Caitanya Caritamrita. Okay. Hare Krishna. We're so fortunate, man. We just have to access it. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave it open for any comment or question, and if there's any question or comment, we'll take it. Otherwise, Ram Prasad.
He's describing the location of the village rather than to
Yeah.
Sort of using the things of the colonizers to spread Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, maybe you could comment a little more on that. Like you were saying, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj accused the Bhajis of just imitating Rupa Krishna. He was actually following the teachings of Rupa Krishna.
It's very important, as you say, Prabhu, to try to think about and just meditate on, why did Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj drive into Radhakund in a car in 1930s? The cars were very rare in India in the 30s, right? I was just hearing yesterday. Dinabandhu Prabhu from Vrindavan was given a class on Balaram Purnima, and he was saying that when they first came to Vrindavan, there was maybe 2 cars in the whole day.
That was traffic.
And if there were 2 cars, that was traffic. You had to be careful, there's traffic today, because there were 2 cars in the whole day. And that was in 1971 or 2 or something. So imagine in 1930, drove into Radhakund with a car in an open place. I think I've seen pictures of it. I think there's photos of it. So that caused a huge uproar. Who's a sadhu who's driving in a car. But why did he do that? He didn't just accidentally do that, right? No, everything he did was for a reason. And he's to teach us that the external situation will come and go. It'll come and go. Back in the days of, when Rupa Goswami and the 6 Goswamis from Vrindavan, there was nothing else. They literally would sleep under a tree. They would just wear very simple cloth. But now times have changed, and whatever is there, we use that, and we don't get caught up in it. The transcendental considerations are always there for devotees. They're always there for devotees. They're the important things. And whatever's externally there, they just use it. We can see that Srila Prabhupada, if you look in Back to Godhead magazine, what year did he start that? Does anybody know? It's right there on the magazine. He started in 1944. Does anyone know what was happening in Calcutta in 1944? World War II. And Calcutta was being bombed that year by Japanese. And there was famines all over Bengal because of the, whatever political situation going on. But Srila Prabhupada, he didn't stop. And in fact, what was his solution to the demonic governments? He started Back to Godhead. And that was Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's point to him when they first met. Prabhupada was a follower of Gandhi externally. And he said, well, how are we going to establish Sanatana Dharma until we're a free country? And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj would reply that this will come and go. The politics will come and go. The government will come and go. This will come and go. And it doesn't matter. There's no, you can't change it. It's always been there. In the time Lord Caitanya was the Muslims persecuting so many horrible things. But Lord Caitanya didn't try to change the government. He worked within it, He worked with it. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he made one statement that, may Srimati Queen Victoria rule over India for a long time, because then when they do the government and arrange everything nicely, then we're free to do our bhajan and do our devotional service. This is a very kind of transcendental, and he wasn't ignorant to the atrocities, to the abuses of power and so forth that were going on. He was aware of all that, but still he made that statement. So the transcendental system, Rupa Goswami gives, what is that verse? Anasaktasya vishayan yataham upayunjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam varagimuchate. The important part of that verse is Krishna Sambandhe. Krishna Sambandhe. So as devotees, if we get caught up in, we're very renounced, we don't do this, we don't do that, we don't do that, we don't do that. But where's the Krishna Sambandhe? Where's the Krishna Sambandhe? What was that we were hearing the other day? It was Rukmini Devi was saying that all these men, they're just like imitation men, they're not real, they're terrible, they're this and that and everything. But she was saying it in relation to Krishna. We say the material world is useless in relation to Krishna. Just like our humility is not that, we are nothing, we're nothing. No, we are very small in relation to Krishna. Krishna Sambandhe. Everything is in relation to Krishna, and that is, Rupa Goswami's, high spiritual technology that you won't find in any other religious practice, really. Most religious practice is about give up, give up, give up. Don't do this. This is sinful. Give up, and then somewhere. No, but Vaishnavism is embrace Krishna. Serve Krishna. You're giving something up, but how is that related to Krishna? It can be related, there's so many ways. You can read Bhagavad Gita and that makes you think, okay, how am I relating this to Krishna? What is the basis on what I'm thinking this? Is that related to Krishna? Is that how some devotee, some acharya looked at the world? Or is that how someone who's in mode of passion and ignorance and simply wants to become a big false ego for some time and then die and never be heard again? Is that their perspective of the world? Well, I don't want their perspective of the world. No, I want the Acharya's perspective of the world. Krishna Sambandhe. Like something. Anything else?
What was it?
Sorry?
Swami should never cross the ocean.
Yeah, Swami should never cross the ocean, right? And this is it. Yeah. But we have to read, we have to absorb our minds in that. We have to put some time aside. When I was living in the temple for 6 years, I'd put some time aside. From 6:30 to 7, I would just study Bhagavatam, read Bhagavatam. We have to, when we're young, make some time for that. And if we make some time that it goes in every day, then when we're older, we'll contemplate these things and it'll become very, very solid and very deep, And then as we get older, obviously we can contemplate it more and more. We can actually read more. But we have to be reading and what inspires us, what really resonates with us, and then apply that in the world to our relationships and to the world, to what we're doing. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.